What is up, DS3 TV? We are back for another video. Yes, this was the Battle of Nicopolis. This is the Ottoman Empire Part 2 because I don't know what happened to the rest of the parts because I believe I shot this when I still had my other channel, but I don't know what happened to other parts and I don't remember this, so we're gonna watch it again. Yeah, so also subscribe to the channel. We want to get 1,000 subscribers by Valentine's Day, so please let's make that happen. And yeah, so what we're gonna do now is watch this video by Kings and Generals, which they're a great channel. Go subscribe to them if you haven't already. But most importantly, subscribe to my channel. Yeah, so let's get into it and play.
In our previous video, we covered the Battle of Kosovo in 1389 between the Ottoman Empire and a broad alliance of the Balkan peoples led by Serbia. It was the first real test the Ottomans faced in Europe, and despite the loss of their Sultan and heavy casualties, their invasion of Europe continued. But the new conquerors would be confronted by an even bigger challenge during one of the last Crusades, just 7 years later at Nicopolis. Although the Ottomans suffered significant losses at...
Also, I forgot to say, if you want to give me a video to watch and to... yeah, if you want to give me a video to watch and react to, you can always do that. Just put it in the comment, just put the link in the comment section, or tell me the video in the comment section and what channel it is, because if you just tell me the video and if it's about like a whole bunch of different channels, I might not know. So it's better to do that, or just give me the link. Yeah, so do that, and let's get into the video. Let's get back into the video.
At Kosovo, they had enough resources to go on with their military campaigns. The new Sultan, Bayezid I, married the daughter of the Prince of Moravia and Serbia, Lazar, who died during the battle, and his son Stefan became the vassal of the Ottomans. At the same time, Stefan was recognized as the leader of Serbia and granted autonomy. With most of the Central Balkans firmly under his control, the Sultan attempted to conquer the southeast of Anatolia and moved his forces there. Wallachian Prince Mircea the Elder and the King of Hungary Sigismund I used that to capture the strategically important Nicopolis, situated on the banks of the Danube River, in 1392, and also restored a Bulgarian princedom in Tarnovo. However, Bayezid gained a quick victory in his war against Turkish Beyliks, and in 1393 took back the majority of the lost lands and even started conducting raids into Wallachia. Nicopolis was recaptured shortly after. Despite the fact that Mircea scored a victory against Bayezid in 1395 at Ravenna, it was clear to the Hungarian king that he would need additional forces to stop the Ottoman incursion, and he called for a crusade.
I don't know if it's just me, but I wonder if he said that right. So if anyone, I'm just gonna guess, I don't know what language that would be in if I had to like guess, but I don't know if he said that right. So you can tell me in the comment section if he said that right too, because I don't really know.
The year's war between France and England had already been raging for decades, and many of their neighbours were also involved. There was also the problem of the schism in the Catholic Church, which now had 2 popes, and the grudge between the Catholic and Orthodox churches, where the sack of Constantinople was still a point of contention. Still, as France and England had signed a truce a few years before, Sigismund found many allies. Both popes supported the crusade, alongside the kings of England and France, and the biggest feudal lord of France, the Duke of Burgundy, Philippe. Burgundians, who formed the core of the crusading army, would be nominally led by the young son of the Duke, the Count of Nevers, Jean. Philippe also had some seasoned commanders to balance his son's inexperience. Knights Hospitaller, Venetian and Genoan navies, and smaller groups of knights from England, Aragon, Poland, Bohemia, the Holy Roman Empire and the Teutonic Order also agreed to join. The majority of the Crusader army arrived at the city of Regensburg in April of 1396 to use the Danube River to travel downstream to Budapest. In July they reached the Hungarian capital, where Sigismund joined them. A secondary group consisting of Hospitaller, Venetian and Genoan navies converged in Rhodos, entered the Black Sea and moved into the Danube and upstream. In September, the Crusaders entered Bulgaria and reached the city of Vidin. The ruler was a vassal of the Sultan, but upon the arrival of the crusading army, he opened the gates and allowed them to massacre the small Ottoman garrison.
Whew.
The army then moved.
These videos are always edited together so well. Like, I know he's using like a battle simulator, but these videos are like it's edited together so well. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell that, but yeah, like it's just good. It's so good.
Against Oyahovo. The local population and garrison tried to surrender to Sigismund, who accepted the offer, but the Crusaders didn't honor the agreement. Hundreds of Muslim and Orthodox citizens were killed, and at least a few thousand were made prisoners. On the 8th of September, the Hospitaller-led fleet reached Nicopolis, and 2 days later, the Crusaders started the siege. As the fortifications were recently improved and the Crusaders lacked adequate siege equipment, they chose to blockade the city in the hope that this would force Bayezid to attack them. Many legends claim that the Ottoman Sultan learned about the Crusader movement due to the betrayal of one of the European leaders. But in any case, Bayezid's army was besieging Constantinople when the Hospitaller navy crossed the Dardanelles, and that was the moment he lifted the siege and started moving to the north. The Sultan sent a message to his main vassal and relative, Stefan Lazarevich, to move towards Bulgaria at once. By the 24th of September, Bayezid and Stefan Lazarevich were in the vicinity of Nicopolis. Contemporary sources offer varying and at times fantastic numbers of troops, with some claims being in the hundreds of thousands. However, modern historiography is much more modest. On the one hand, Sigismund probably used only a portion of his forces, and the core of the Crusader army was from France. Other European contingents were much smaller than the Burgundian one. Taking all of this into account, 20,000 to 25,000 troops seems to be an absolute maximum for the Crusaders. On the other side, the Ottomans lost a large number of their warriors at Kosovo less than a decade before Nicopolis, and Bayezid probably had at least some of his forces in Anatolia, as the situation there also wasn't stable. So even with the support of his Balkan vassals, he probably had numbers similar to those of the Crusaders. I see your courage, and I will demonstrate courage no less than yours. Behold, I will be like lightning during the battle.
This was edited like amazingly. This is different than like even like the regular videos and like that they have. Was this like? I'm about to say, because I know I've seen a couple of their series before, but this is different. He has like the light animations. He's saying like their quotes and stuff. I've never seen this before.
It is said that on the 24th of September, the Crusader forces were able to ambush a small group of enemy scouts and destroy it, which only made them more confident. They also executed the prisoners taken at the beginning of the war. There was no unity in their camp, and when Sigismund, who had more experience fighting Ottomans, offered a plan to use infantry for the initial attack, young French knights led by Jean protested, as they were sure that the king wanted to claim an easy victory. Sigismund failed to persuade the Frenchmen and implored them to attack slowly so his own troops could provide support. Regardless, on the 25th, the Burgundian Crusaders didn't wait and galloped into the attack. Bayezid placed his archers in the center on the slope of a hill, with Akinji riders in front of them, in the hopes that his light cavalry would be able to provoke the Crusaders to move against the archers, who were also defended by stakes. Anatolian Sepahis were on the left, while Balkan Sepahis were on the right. In the second line, the Sultan had his Janissary Guard, the remainder of the Sepahi forces, and the Serbian cavalry of Stefan. The Burgundians saw the Akinjis and attacked what they thought was the main Ottoman force. However, the latter were much quicker and started drawing the Crusaders towards the centre while sending arrows their way. The Akinjis managed to evade the heavy cavalry charge and retreat to the flanks, while the Crusaders continued uphill, where they were met with another volley of missiles. Although the knights were in heavy panoply that arrows failed to penetrate, their horses were wounded and killed. It is said that at this point half of the Burgundians either lost their steeds or dismounted to remove the stakes. As this barricade was destroyed, the Crusaders attacked the Ottoman archers, who had almost no armour and very light melee weapons, so soon after the archers were routed and started retreating uphill.
Okay.
At this point, a smaller group of Sepahis moved to attack the Crusaders head-on, but withdrew shortly after the contact. Younger Crusaders were celebrating the victory and didn't listen to their more experienced counterparts, who advised to rest and wait for the remainder of the army. Jean and others were sure that they had won the day and just needed to pursue the Sultan in his retreat. So they continued moving uphill, and at this point were attacked by the Sepahis from the flanks and Bayezid and his guard from the front. The
They got too greedy. They really did get too greedy.
Were now surrounded and formed a circle to defend themselves. This moment of the battle has multiple retellings, and we present the one supported by the majority of our sources. Burgundian forces were slowly melting away, and Sigismund, who had just reached the slope of the hill, tried to move and break the encirclement. However, his troops were attacked by the Akinjis and archers who retreated at the very beginning of the battle, and now the whole Crusader army was surrounded. Wallachian and Transylvanian units managed to break the encirclement, but then they retreated as their leader decided it was more prudent to save their troops. Still, this gave Sigismund some room, and he almost managed to turn the battle around. Unfortunately for him, Bayezid had one more fresh unit. Serbian knights commanded by Stefan were ordered forward to attack the left flank of the Crusader army. That caused a mass rout, and as Burgundian forces were either killed or taken prisoner, nothing was stopping the Sultan from using his lighter cavalry in pursuit of the enemy. Most of the Crusader army was destroyed. Ottoman sources claim that Bayezid was furious that the Crusaders murdered their hostages, and that for the first time in Ottoman history, the Sultan gave the order to kill his prisoners. At least a few thousand Crusaders were executed. The remainder were enslaved, and only a handful of noblemen were able to buy their freedom by paying a ransom. Thus ended one of the last Crusades. Seemingly no one was left to stop Bayezid's invasion of Central Europe, but soon he would face a threat from the east. Thanks for watching our documentary on the battle.
Very, very interesting. I'm ready to see the next episode when they go against the power in the east, because I really do want to see that one, but that'll be for next time. Tomorrow I should have another 2 videos that's coming from this time in quarantine and not earlier in quarantine or whatever. Yeah. I've been wanting to get those older videos out to you guys because I know, you guys did like those videos, so I do want to get those out to you, but I know that I have to shoot new videos too, and yeah, so I hope you guys are happy with the 2 videos that you get today, and also subscribe to the channel. Also put in the comment section what videos do you want me to watch, and talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.